Baseball players are the highest paid athletes in the world. When you think of giant sports contracts, you think of Alex Rodriguez, you think of Derek Jeter, you think of Bryce Harper, which through the first month is going as laughably horrible as I thought it would. Today we're going to go over some contracts that, to put it lightly, didn't quite work out for the teams that signed them. A lot of the players I'm going to talk about not only sucked, but their stats declined significantly the first year after signing their new deals. To be quite honest, I could probably just talk about almost every single player the Mets have ever signed in their history instead, but I forced myself to limit it to only one Met. Quick thing before we start, I couldn't find much background footage of these players on their current teams struggling, so I decided to just use the background clips of these players on their old teams doing successful, so at least you get an idea of what they once were as opposed to the crap that they're putting out now. So without further ado, let's do this. If you're ever in Queens and you really want to piss someone off, just go to the local deli, whisper Jason Bay, and then prepare to be taken out back behind the shop and beaten. Jason Bay, a former NL Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger winner, and someone who had hit 36 home runs in 2009, came to the Mets on a 4-year deal looking to be the powerhouse of that lineup. Jason hit 36 homers like I said the year before, and in typical Met fashion, in his first year as a Met, he hit 6. 6. He had some health issues 2 of the 3 years he was with the team as well. His career high home runs in a season with New York turned out to be 12, so let's just say he wasn't the powerhouse we thought he'd be. Before taking his talents to Chicago, Jason Heyward averaged 16 homers a year, and the year before he signed he hit 290. Coming to a hitter's ballpark, you'd think he'd at least maintain those kinds of numbers, but you'd be wrong. In his first 3 years, his average home run number had been cut in half, he hit a mere 230 in his first year with the Cubbies, and while his batting average increased the next couple of years, his production was way down across the board. If you're a Cubs fan, there must be a hole in your heart nearly as big as the 8-year, $184 million hole in the Ricketts pockets. This next one may be the most controversial on the list for reasons I'll discuss, but I felt I should include it anyway. First things first, this isn't a horrible contract, it's just one that didn't work out nearly as well as expected, and I thought should be included for that reason. Albert Pujols is the single greatest hitter of my generation. The kinds of numbers he put up with St. Louis were unmatched. His massive 10-year, $240 million deal with Los Angeles was a big risk, as it was signed when Albert was 32 years old. Of course, given how incredibly successful he was with the Cardinals, one may have thought he'd do it forever, but that was a big risk the Angels were taking. Albert had a really good first year with the team, not St. Louis good, but still good, and has had some good seasons with the Angels, but he's also had some bad ones. He's never hit over 300 with the team. For a guy that hit well over 300 9 out of the 10 years he was with the Cardinals, that's definitely a huge letdown. When he's been healthy, he can still slug 30 homers a year, which is good, but the Angels didn't sign the mega deal for Albert to hit 30 home runs and hit 248. They signed him to hit 40 homers and hit 320, which wasn't unreasonable by any stretch given how amazing he had been every year up to when he signed. Albert got the humongous contract that he deserved, but so far with the Angels, it doesn't look like it's panning out the way they thought it would. Matt Cain signed a big 5-year contract extension mid-season in 2012 and had a really strong year. He finished 16-5 with a 2.79 ERA, and he looked like the Matt Cain I remember from most of my childhood. Unfortunately for the Giants, that was the last time they'd ever see him like that. Okay, it's not that dramatic, but it was a shame to see what happened next to him. Over the remainder of his career, Cain dealt with injuries, he never finished over 500 again, and his ERAs were as follows: 4, 4.18, 5.79, 5.64, and 5.43. That's a pretty incredible difference for a guy that was once pitching in World Series games for the Giants. 7 years, $161 million, with payments up to 2037, going down as one of baseball's all-time worst contracts. Enter Chris Davis, America's sweetheart, Baltimore's poster child, and the greatest hitter in the history of the game. The worst team in the sport right now has the worst contract in the sport. Chris Davis used to be a guy that can hit 50-plus home runs. Now he's a guy that's aiming to make contact 50 times in a season. Earlier this season, Davis finally ended that 0 for 54 skid, that brutally sad affair that started last season and carried over to this year. For a team as hard as Baltimore is, it seems poetic that Davis is where he is. Since signing, he hasn't had a season hitting over 221, his home run numbers have declined each year since, and it doesn't seem like the guy could hit a beach ball with a wiffle ball bat. Ironically enough, his strikeout numbers are down from when he was hitting 40 to 50 homers a year and hitting 260. I guess the only advice I can give him is to strike out more, and maybe he'll get back on track. In any case, this will go down as one of the worst contracts ever that the Orioles will be paying for until I'm 38. Let me know down below what you thought about the video. Leave a like on it if you did enjoy. Also, leave some video suggestions for what you guys want to see from me this summer down below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Follow us on Twitter. You guys know what to do by now. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later.
I call the shots, I run the balls, I'm Michael Jordan. Hit it with a little bit of push and a little bit of pull when a goddamn mic recording. I bring the heat, I rep the east, I'm like the South. I don't even know what to do with the gold that I get, bitch. I'm Michael Phelps. I'm like LeBron, I get the gold, I'm Sherry Khan, you'll carry bronze. I'm Randy Moss, I'm Harry Khan, my game on Royce, I'm Barry Bonds. I got a cancer, it's for the fans, like a Lance on the tour.